you love to eat? Are you used to just opening up boxes and cans to get a snack? Do you ever wonder where food actually comes from? Not from the supermarket, not from a vending machine. It comes from fields, from farms, from bakeries. People celebrate it. There's festivals just for strawberries, just for corn. But for you and me, eating healthy snacks starts in our kitchens, and we can prepare the food ourselves.
You can use just about any fruit to make the salad, but today we've chosen a selection of 5 different fruits.
A kiwi.
Yummy.
An orange.
Mmm.
Blueberries.
Oh boy.
Strawberries.
Mmm.
And pineapple.
Do you think a pineapple looks like a pine cone? I do. This is a kiwi. It kind of looks like a big hairy egg.
When you do anything that uses a cutting board in the kitchen, it's very important that you know some safety rules. Take your towels and dampen them in the water. Why don't you put some in there? You don't need it soaking wet, that's right, just a little damp. And place the cutting board right on top of there. All right, now push the board and you'll see how it stays nice and steady. Great. And this is a terrific habit to always get into whenever you want to use a cutting board in your home.
First, you gotta cut a base in the kiwi. This way, when you're cutting the skin off the kiwi, it won't roll around. Press your knife against the skin of the kiwi so it won't slip. And curl your fingers away from the knife. Try and get off all the extra skin. Cut the kiwi into bite-sized chunks. Cut one end off of the orange. Try and peel off the skin. But if you can't get your finger under the skin, cut a little more of the skin off. Then peel. Cut the orange in half, then into chunks. If you find seeds, you need to take them out. The way that a strawberry is different from the orange or the kiwi is that you eat the outside of the strawberry, so you want to wash it before you eat it. When you are cutting a base on the strawberry, pull up the leaves first. This way, you won't cut off too much of the fruit. Now you're going to cut the strawberry into 2 halves. Since you're cutting it down between your fingers, make sure the knife can't slip either way to cut your fingers. In other words, hold the knife straight down.
First, there's a bud. Then a flower opens up, and you see this? This becomes the strawberry.
Long time ago, the way they got the word strawberry is that they would pick the strawberries in the forest and they would tie the stems to pieces of straw and they'd bring them to market and they got the word strawberry.
Let's use pineapple that's already been cut for us. You can save the juice to drink later.
Blueberries are really easy to pick. They're native to North America. The flavor is in the skin.
But don't wash blueberries until you're right about to eat them. But remember, with any fruit or vegetable, always wash them before you do eat them. Good tip.
not going to eat the fruit salad right away. Put plastic over it so it won't pick up smells from your refrigerator. You can also put the fruit into a plastic container with a tight-fitting lid.
We're going to make pyramid kebabs. These are delicious snacks. We're going to begin by using bread. Today we're going to be using French bread. Oh, they smell great. The important thing to remember is to use a bread that has a good crust to it so that you can skewer it. A kebab is any kind of dish that's put on a skewer. You can use green bell peppers or red bell peppers. Believe it or not, if we let this bell pepper stay on the vine long enough, it would turn red. We're going to use cantaloupe, Swiss cheese, non-fat turkey. We put down a moist towel underneath the cutting board so it's not going to shift.
Now I remember.
That's very important that you make sure you always do that whenever you begin using a cutting board.
Okay.
Always wash fruits and vegetables if you're going to be eating the whole thing. But remember, don't use soap. Cut off the end of the bell pepper to make a base. Take out the inside and cut it in half. The pepper skin is smooth, so your knife could slip on it. So turn the pepper over to cut it up from the inside. Whenever you're cutting anything with a knife, remember to curl your fingers away from the knife.
Do you know where the word cantaloupe came from? It's named after a castle in Italy. Can you imagine going to Italy, going to Cantaloupe Castle, meeting Prince Honeydew and...
After you've cut the melon in half, scoop out all the seeds. Then you can use this little scooper called a melon baller to make melon balls.
A spoon works too. Just press and twist the spoon to make little half-moon shaped chunks. Do you know how I recognize Swiss cheese? It has holes in it. Remember to curl your fingers as you cut the cheese into cubes. If there's a waxy part, cut that off because you don't want to eat that. The bread is easier to cut if you use a serrated knife.
We're going to first put down the bread. Use the pointy part of the kebab when piercing your food. Please remember, when you pierce the food, do not have your hand behind the food. If you do, the kebab goes through the food. Exactly.
Fold the meat in half, and then fold it in half again.
make tortilla chips and bean dip. Today, to make the chips, we're going to use corn tortillas.
I'm Sophie and this is Rhea. Hi. And we're about to go through some meat.
Every time you come to a fork in the road, there's a question. And if you answer it right, you're on the right path. But if you answer it wrong, you'll end up in a dead end and you'll have to come back.
Okay.
And then there's a big monster.
Corn is a staple food for at least 18 nations. Yes or no? I say yes. Yes. Corn is a grass. Yes or no? No.
No. Yes. No.
So, is corn a grass? Yes, it is. But it doesn't look like grass.
We're also going to use beans. We're using red kidney beans. We're using them out of a can. But you can also use dry kidney beans and soak them yourself.
We're also going to use non-fat sour cream. We're going to use salsa. Then we're going to top it with grated cheese. This is cheddar cheese. Both of them are cheddar cheese. They taste exactly the same. So if you think, oh, I only like to eat orange cheese, no, you only like to eat this cheese because you like the color. There is no difference in the taste. To top it off, we're then going to use lettuce.
When you cut up the corn tortillas, you can pile them up on top of each other because it's faster than cutting them up one at a time.
This is a potato masher. There's a very big fork. Which one would you like?
I like to use this one.
The masher?
Yes.
All right. Why don't you use the masher and mash down really hard?
To get the core out of the iceberg lettuce, you can pound it down almost as hard as you can. Then you flip it over, twist the core, and pull it out. Then, pull off the larger outer leaves. These you can wash and use later to put under the chips and dip when it's ready to serve. Cut the lettuce in half and then shred it. That is, cut it into strips. Put the shredded lettuce into a strainer and wash it. Shake it out. Then put it on a paper towel to dry.
It's easier to grate cheese if it's cold. Put the mashed up beans in the baking pan. Then put the salsa and the non-fat sour cream over them. Then the grated cheddar cheese goes on top.
Now the way that we're making this dip, we're putting the chips and the bean dip all into one pan. You don't need to do that. You can put them in separate pans if you like. We just don't like to wash that many dishes. Before you bake, this always should be the rule. Preheat your oven. In other words, turn your oven on to the right temperature before you begin the preparation. We have the oven on at 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're going to put this dish in for about 15 minutes. When you want to take anything out of a hot oven, make sure that you use an oven mitt. Not only should you use an oven mitt, make sure it's dry. If you use a wet mitt, that conducts heat, and you can easily burn yourself. So make sure that you always use a dry oven mitt when handling anything hot. Whenever you want to leave something hot on a stove, make sure you keep your mitt on the item so that everybody else knows it's hot. If you walked away and you had the pan on the stove, somebody might not think it's hot and they'll touch it, and then they'll get burned.
Sprinkle lettuce on top, and it's ready to eat.
Hey, give me some.
All you need is orange juice and vanilla yogurt. And we use low-fat yogurt. It tastes really good, and it's really helpful for you. Whenever you measure a liquid, you want to use a glass measuring cup. And when you're pouring, make sure your eye is level to the line that you're pouring to.
I guess that's all you had.
Always put the lid on a blender, even if you think that there isn't that much in the blender, because if you don't, you might wear your mixture. Remember, if you make a mess, you've got to clean as you go. K-Go. That's our motto. Great. Thanks, Peter. And this will make 6 fruit pops.
See how the spoons are all leaning to the side. To end up with a straight handle for the fruit pop, take a piece of tape and tape it around the side of the spoon and then onto the cup.
You can pour it so that the fruit yogurt mixture is right above the round part of the spoon. Make sure that there's room in your freezer for when these go in. I think they're ready. One for you, one for you, one for me. This is why you want to make sure you use paper, not plastic. I think these look great. Cheers? Cheers. Before you even start cooking, you want to pull your hair back, and then you want to wash your hands. Not the other way around. You don't want to wash your hands and then put your hair back. We always wash our hands. It's not that difficult to do, but just a reminder, you want to use warm water, okay, a good amount of soap. When you wash your hands, make sure you get the inside of your hands covered with soap, and then the top of your hands as well. And then wring your hands together, and then back under the warm water to get the soap off. We don't want soap in our food. Turn the water off, and dry your hands. One point to remember, while you're doing any kind of preparation, it's best not to eat as you go, because your fingers go in your mouth and then you're touching food again. That's not a very good habit to get into. There are some very important things you should know about knife safety. The first thing about knife safety is use a sharp knife. A sharp knife is going to do the job better than a dull knife. The second important thing to remember is that when you walk with a knife, always walk with the knife flat against your body. Don't walk with the knife as though it's a pencil and you're talking to someone waving a knife in their face. Never do that. It's dangerous. If somebody needs the knife and you have the knife, I want to show you the best way to give the knife to somebody else.
Thank you. Thank you.
If for some reason I let go of the knife and the knife fell, never try and catch the knife. Just step away and allow the knife to fall. Never catch a falling knife.
How many things can you think of to do that are fun, creative, and that you can eat?
It's good for you,
Fun to make and are delicious.